The Eagles are putting their final plans in place before reporting back to the NovaCare complex on July 23rd, and while starting positions are all but locked down, the Eagles' secondary remains a talent-filled mystery in terms of who starts where and which players will actually end up making the roster. So, in order to get the inside scoop on the most improved part of the team, I spoke with one Eagles secondary player who's looking to make a major splash this year. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Despite an offseason filled with free agent flash signings, the core of the Eagles' future has truly been built through the draft the past 2 years. We've seen the Eagles completely revamp and add a ton of talent on their defensive line. They got the future, hopefully, at right guard, and of course, a ton of secondary pieces, including Sidney Brown and Kelee Ringo and Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And while us Eagle fans have known about the greatness of Howie Roseman for a very long time, it seems like the entire NFL finally this offseason has kind of sit back and gone, oh wow, the Eagles have done an incredible job. For instance, PFF, again, just yesterday, had the Eagles as the most improved team from the 2024 NFL Draft, saying at the very end of their very interesting article, quote, "This is a draft class that could get the Eagles back into Super Bowl contention." Now, pair this Super Bowl caliber draft class with the aforementioned free agent signings, including how about fresh workout footage of Saquon Barkley from yesterday, who looks like he's 100% camp ready, and of course, the hype around the Birds starting offense and defense continues to grow every single day. But training camp, as we know, it's not just about the starters. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, they're all locked into their spots. It's mainly about the backups trying to go ahead and not only make the roster, but maybe even push to steal a starting job. Now, I think Mekhi Garner could be one of those players. Garner was an undrafted free agent in 2023 out of LSU, who ended up making the Eagles practice squad last year as a cornerback. His 6'2", 225-pound frame made him a menace as a cover corner in Death Valley and got him on the football field for Philadelphia during what was an injury-filled secondary year for 3 games. But halfway through the Eagles' 2023 campaign, the Birds decided to move Garner from cornerback over to safety, mainly due to his size and cover ability, and also the Eagles' pretty bad lack of depth at the position. Now, since then, Philadelphia has added their starting safety depth chart, and really they have 2 solid players ready to go, but the overall depth in general remains relatively thin, meaning Mekhi is just a step away from filling in as a starter on a team many deem Super Bowl ready in the NFC. And as you've probably realized, I got to sit down with Mekhi Garner yesterday and go over a ton of different topics, 20 minutes, no question off the table. That's a rule here on the channel. We covered Vic Fangio, converting from cornerback to safety, AJ Brown versus DeVonta Smith, who's harder to cover, and yes, a Jalen Hurts question. I've asked everybody that so far, and his answers, honestly, were really, really interesting. But before we start, I mentioned on Monday's show, I'm giving away a Jalen Hurts Nike t-shirt you see on your screen right here. If you go to that video, drop a comment, go ahead and also subscribe. You can have a chance to win that next week, but I figured if we can break my record of 1,500 likes on this video and get 500 comments, it's doable. I've gotten 1,400 likes before and very close to actually more than 500 comments, but we can break 1,500 and 500 comments. I'm going to give away a second Jalen Hurts Nike t-shirt to one lucky subscriber and commenter on today's show. Now, in terms of Gardner, my first question, as you'll see, was basically asking, what have you been doing this offseason? What's it like for somebody trying to make the roster, getting ready for training camp, and yet having months and months of off time? You staying healthy? You in the gym? Here was his answer.
Yeah, outside of just getting a clear mind, before we go to battle, and training camp and preseason and for the season and the playoffs and, the Super Bowl or whatever, I think it's just a good thing just to get away from everything, get around family, see some, travel here and there, definitely have some fun with my friends, just vibing, man. Just having a good time with all this free time we have, and that's it.
In terms of all this working out in the offseason versus you mentioned having fun and traveling and hanging out with your friends, is it working out every single day? Do you have scheduled sessions? Just a little behind the scenes in terms of how often are you in the gym kind of getting ready?
So, me and my trainer, we're Monday through Friday. I have the weekends to myself and have the weekends to myself, but usually I'm up at say Monday. I mean, it all depends. Monday to Friday. Some days are like we start at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and then we come back later in the day for he called it 2-a-days or whatever. But it's great work. But we're Monday through Friday. I'm off on weekends. And that's it.
I want to go back to last season a little bit, right? Because you enter in to the Philadelphia Eagles, you almost make the 53-man roster. A lot of people had you right on the bubble there, very close. You're on their practice squad for the majority of the season. The DB room gets very thin. You get called up a couple of times. You play in the Tampa Bay game to go ahead and actually end the season. A lot of players are saying that year 2 is where things start to click, right? In your mind, what's the biggest difference between you in year 1 to you in year 2 heading into training camp?
I'd say first off, it starts off mentally. Like, I know what to expect now. I'm not going in blind. I know how the Eagles organization runs their training camp, and I know what to expect. I'm not nervous anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah.
got to chill now, because now I can run in head first. You know what I'm saying? I was a little timid at first because I didn't know what I was going into it. Compared to now, that and on top of that, I think the best thing that's one of the best things that's has happened lately is that like now, like I'm at safety. You know what I'm saying? It won't be no like changing or like me changing position. You know what I'm saying? Where I had to start all over. Now I've been repping safety ever since whenever I think mid season when I got changed around whatever, and it's been a great transition. Especially our coaches, the new coaches we have, they're very detail orientated and how they want me to play. You know what I'm saying? The playbook. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like this is going to be a great year for myself. I see a lot. Excuse me. I see a lot of things clicking. Um, you know, and I'm ready. I'm excited. My family excited. My friends are pushing me and telling me like, not only are they telling me what I know, what I'm saying, but this is going to be an exciting year.
I want to get to the safety transition in a second, but I want to go back. You mentioned going into your first training camp, right? You don't know what to expect, you're a little bit timid. Is it more so the fact that it's just being in the NFL? You got to kind of pinch yourself and you're like, I'm in the NFL. Is it a harder training camp than what you had at LSU? Is it the fact you're around stars you've been watching on TV? What makes it sort of like this crazy transition going from college football to the National Football League, at least in training camp?
Yeah, so I would say it's just being in a environment where you've always dreamed of. Like I've been playing football since I was 4. You know what I'm saying? If you would have told me, one day I'll be in the NFL, I probably would have looked at you crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you playing against stars. You got AJ, D. Smitty, Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? Then you got D. Slade, James Bradberry. You got Reed. You know what I'm saying? People like you've always just watched on TV. Like it's just a blessing just to be here, man. Like I said, I'm excited to be here and I'm ready. I think I believe I'm ready. So I'm gonna go get it this year.
Let's get into that safety transition because you mentioned it. About halfway through the season, they're kind of transitioning you over to safety, but now you've kind of had a full offseason where it's like, okay, I'm a safety. This is where I'm going to go ahead and play. And it's a pretty interesting overall position group, at least in the Philadelphia Eagles, since corner is now jam-packed. We'll talk about that. But safety is something you can really make your way in. How difficult has it been being a corner, drafted or at least coming out of LSU into the draft as a corner? Is it a massive change or is it kind of just like a small change going from being on the outside as a corner to being an actual safety?
I would say it's not a big change, but it's a change, right? Let me get into why I say it's not a big change. It's just a regular change for me because I feel like I've always played safety until I got to University of Louisiana. That's when I had that transition of safety to corner because in high school and when I did my 1 year at community college, I was at safety. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So um, it was just more of a change. Now I am the quarterback of the defense. Like now I have to know different gaps, different schemes, different shades of D linemen. I have to be, what I'm saying? They put it on us where if someone's out of line on the defense, it's on the safety. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's where the change had to come in where like now I have to really like know the playbook. Like I gotta know the end. I gotta know the playbook like it's the back of my hand. You know, I got to really be in the playbook. You know, as far as corner wise, you know, it was much easier because, you know, at LSU, we've played what, you know, well, we didn't really play it, but it was somewhat similar to what we played here at the Eagles. Like, so I had to, like, it was, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, gosh, you know what I'm saying? But like now, for me transitioning, making that transition was like, okay, now I have to really like lock in with the playbook. The playbook has to be my best friend. Like this, what comes first is the playbook, and another thing was that, man, it feels more natural. Like my natural movements is like it just feels so natural. It feels like I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? With me at safety, I don't feel out of place, or I don't have to hear anybody say, "Oh man, I think you too big." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was hearing that all year last year, even at LSU. Like they like, "What are you doing outside? Like you don't look like a safety, right?" So you know, now that I'm in my natural position, my natural movements, footwork, you know what I'm saying? It's just amazing to see like how you would have thought like I would have took a step backwards when really I made two steps forward. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to thank the Eagles organization and the front office and the coaches for like just seeing that like let's see if he can make this transition. They believe in me, you know what I'm saying, and I believe in myself to keep going. And like I said from the beginning, this is going to be an exciting year. Like I really believe this is going to be an exciting year.
Eagle fans love their safeties. We haven't had that many good ones, but the ones that we fall in love with, they're like the heart and soul of the football team. CJ Gardner-Johnson was somebody a couple years back that Eagle fans really wanted to love. He then had to go to Detroit for the contract thing. You weren't with him in 2022. What's it been like being around CJ, at least so far during OTAs in the Eagle offseason?
Man, he actually, man, I love being around CD because he's actually me. Like if I was more communicative, like more talkative, like how he is, more vocal, I would be a CJ, like or a CD, right? And so like, you know, I'm more of a laid back, real chill guy. But like he's so vocal and I like that a lot because, you know what I'm saying, he's front line, he gonna go to war with you. You know what I'm saying? Like he got your back and that's the type of teammate you wanna have when you go on to war. Especially on this long season, on this long journey we have that's in front of us. So I've loved being around CD and I love being around Reed too. I feel like Reed how I look at Reed, Reed is the genius. Like he just knows everything, right? And so I kind of like get a view of both sides, like how I need to be more vocal, like CD, but I need to be more in the playbook, like Reed, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I take the I take a deep look in both on both sides, or within both of them actually.
You think Reed Blakenship's a little bit underrated? You know, Eagle fans are really funny because they will love you, they'll hate you, they'll love you, they hate you, they go back and forth. Reed was like the darling of undrafted free agents a couple of years back, and then last year he had his up and downs. I see a lot of people saying, is he good enough to be a starter in this league? You seem to think that he's definitely smart enough and has the ability to be a really great safety.
Oh man, is Reed good enough to play in this league or start in the league is a crazy question. Like I don't even know why people, would even like question that. Like Reed is a great guy. Like I love Reed. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Reed, actually, if you want to be honest. You know, like I said, when I walked in, Reed not only was Slay, JB and the other few guys, but Reed was probably the most open one, like, you know what I'm saying, like who wants to welcome other people in, and actually like take people under his wing and be like, man, like I paved the way. This is how you should do it. Like if you're an undrafted free agent or if you're a freaking draft pick, like, you know what I'm saying? Like special teams is your way into the door, right? That's how you get your foot in the door. And then let your talent, let your whatever God gave you, let that take its place. But man, how you get your foot in the front door is special teams. And I feel like Reed has paved the way on how undrafted free agents should come into this game.
I got to ask about James Bradberry. You mentioned him earlier. He's another player who's going from cornerback to safety. The Eagles have been a little bit, at least to the media and fans, a little bit hazy on, is he going to be a full safety? Is he going to be a full cornerback? I talked to your teammate, Zach McPherson. He said he's kind of hybrid cross-training back and forth. Is that what you've seen as well? Has he been in all the safety meetings and then also the corner meetings? Where's he been at?
Yeah, man, JB's been all over the place, and both like But JB's been in this league long enough where he can do it both. Like he can be in one meeting for like 2 days, but still know what the other position is doing, right? So like, yeah, like what I've seen, JB is just like what Zach said, big hybrid. Like he goes in and out, you know.
I wanted to go ahead and throw up some questions here. I asked my subscribers if they could ask an Eagle DB, because I didn't say who you were, and because I like to kind of drop that as a surprise. Ask any Eagle DB any question. What would you ask him? Got 3 of them here. At the Philly Special, people watching this will know who that is. Josh Davis. Who on defense has been the biggest influence on you so far, and why?
I said that earlier. Reed actually, or it's actually been Reed and CD. Like I can't really like pick between because both of them have you know what I'm saying, they both have a big effect on me. Like I said, CD is who I look up to be as a vocal leader, and that's where I want to be, sooner or later. And then you have Reed, like I said earlier, who's paved the way. So like I literally like follow what Reed does. Whatever Reed does, I'm doing. Like if he's in the playbook, I'm in the playbook. Special teams, you know what I'm saying? Like when he meeting with Coach Clay, shit, I'm trying to meet with Coach Clay. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm like directly behind Reed. Like man, like yeah, that's those are the 2 people who's like affected me these last few months when we went through training, OTAs, and mini camp and stuff like that.
Another one here from is Elon boss yet? This one's kind of unfair, but I got it a bunch of times, and I know that you respect both these guys like crazy. But everyone asked Eagle DBs this: who's harder to cover, 1-on-1, AJ or Smitty? Again, we love them both; they're both fantastic.
Yeah.
You have to pick though. Who's harder?
Who's harder? Man, this is a hard because I guarded both of them in last year in training camp because I was at corner. So man, this is hard because they're both different. Like you have to change your game for both. Ah, I'm gonna say Smitty. Smitty like routes are really underrated. Like the man he just knows how to dictate, how to change, how to get out his breaks for real. Like it's a different ball game when you guard Smitty because he can give you anything. You know what I'm saying? Whereas AJ is more of a bully ball. Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like you playing bully ball with AJ. With Smitty, it's like you gotta be real technical. Everything has to be exactly right everything has to be precise because of Smitty. Like he's changing his routes, he's changing his tempo into the routes, he's changing his breaks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think Smitty is harder. I wouldn't say harder. I'm choosing Smitty.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know. It's like AJ obviously is like one of the best receivers in the league. Smitty is right there with him. It's hard to pick between the 2. But I got that question a lot, and so the fans obviously want to know. I want to go ahead and ask about Vic Fangio. I asked Moro Jomo, I asked Zach McPherson, and BG all about Fangio, and like the common theme there is he's like no BS. He's all about ball, very serious, very meticulous. Has that been your overall opinion of Vic Fangio so far? And as a second question, does he have fun at all? Because everyone else seems to think he's like all serious all the time. Is there moments where Fangio can be, not just the old defensive coordinator, but a fun guy as well?
So to answer your first question, man, he's definitely all ball. Like all ball. Like whatever this is what you want in a DC though. Like someone who's like who is very detail orientated in what he wants in his defense. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't give no slack or anything. Like you're gonna get 110 from him every day, right? And then the second, like he jokes around here and there. Like let's be real. Like he jokes here and there. You know what I'm saying? He has his moments where he's funny and stuff like that, or wants to be funny and stuff like that. He jokes around here and there, but man, he's all ball. Like he's just legit all ball.
Fangio loves his safeties. He has at least a history in terms of cornerbacks who convert over to safety, and so it makes a ton of sense why he, at least now in the offseason, has seen you going from cornerback to being safety. What does a prototypical safety look like in a Vic Fangio scheme? Right? If Fangio was going to go pick his perfect safety, what are some of the main tools he wants to see in a guy like maybe yourself?
And I think the first thing is can he cover? You know what I'm saying? I don't think Fangio really cares about if you run a 4-4, 4-3, 4-2, 4-5. Man, if you can go out there and cover a tight end or a slot receiver, I think that's where Fangio just like, man, like he loves you, right? Um, Obviously, a great communicator, vocal, um, definitely physical in our run game. Like you got to be physical, ready to lay the wood on somebody. And then also just a great player, a great teammate, right? Because you don't want to just be out there being a robot. Like you want to be around somebody who's very like who everybody can gravitate to, like who can lean on. Everybody can lean on when it's coming fourth and short, fourth and one. Everybody not only can everybody count on you, but can everybody like count on what if we don't get it? You know what I'm saying? What is your reaction? What's your reaction after that? Like, are you lifting everybody up or are you blaming somebody? You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great teammate, great leadership. I think that's where Vic really likes to as well.
I want to ask a cornerback question here because last year, Philadelphia, they had the two older guys, the two veterans in terms of Slay and Bradberry on the outside. After that, though, a little bit thin, injuries piled up. This year, Howie Roseman just went all in. He got corner after corner after corner to where there's 14, 15 cornerbacks currently on the roster heading into training camp. They've looked fantastic during OTAs, according to all reports that we've seen. But if you had to pick one who, from a safety standpoint, you're watching, really impressed you, give me a corner name that has stood out at least the past couple of months.
It's actually they're neck and neck. I'm not gonna lie, they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck. Like one day is this guy, the next day it's another guy, right? And it's like it's just crazy to see how Kelee and Isaiah, like man, those two are like balling. Like, and I love Kelee a lot, man. Like I tell him, like I believe I texted him like 2 days ago, like man, like bro, like you've been balling, like bro, like keep that up, bro, like you know what I'm saying, like you never know when your time is coming, right? So I say, man, you stay ready, bro, like bro, you know what I'm saying? Like you was handling business. You know what I'm saying? Now can you do that in training camp? Can you do that in the preseason? Can you do that in the season? Can you do that in the playoffs? Like how long can you keep that run going? Like and then you got Isaiah who just came, you know what I'm saying, who took a whole year off and he don't even look like it. Like the man just looks like, you know what I'm saying, he was just playing like last year. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was no drop off. Like Isaiah is still that guy. Like I said, like it's just been neck and neck with them two. Like one day is Kelee, the next day it might be Isaiah, or it might be Isaiah for 2 days and then Kelee for 3 days. Like you know what I'm saying. So those two right there, those two have had an amazing spring. You know what I'm saying. I pray they're good. Pray for their health. You know what I'm saying. I pray they come in training camp ready to keep going with that high energy.
That's been everything that we've heard. I mean, just from the outside, it's fun to hear it on the inside. But the outside, it was like Isaiah Rodgers and Kelee Ringo, watch out. And it seemed the exact same way during OTAs. It was Isaiah one day and then Kelee the other day. And so it's fun to hear in terms of someone actually on the football field echoing what all the reporters and media people have been saying. Quickly on Cooper DeJean, and then we'll get one more and wrap up here. Cooper DeJean is fascinating to me because he should have been a first-round draft pick. He falls. The Eagles trade up. They grab him. And then Philadelphia hasn't really figured out, at least externally to us, what they're going to do with him. Nickel, is he going to be outside? Is he going to be a safety? What have you seen from Cooper DeJean so far? And again, during a limited OTA minicamp phase that's impressed you, at least from a rookie standpoint?
From a rookie, well, from a year two guy to a rookie, I would say the guy is very intelligent. Like they put him all over the field, and it looks like he just like naturally belongs there, right? And that's what you want, you know what I'm saying? But that's something you don't expect out of a rookie, though. Like rookie, you think you gotta baby him, you know what I'm saying? Like walk him through a few steps here and there, right? But with Coop and Q, man, it's like them two, like you know what I'm saying? They belong out there, like they earned their rights to be drafted how high as they did. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of them, and I wish, like I said, like I told Kelee, or like I was saying with Kelee and Isaiah, I pray for their health. You know what I'm saying, through the whole season. But them two right there, them two are great. They are very intelligent. Coop has been phenomenal with the role he's been placed in, with just playing everywhere. Then you have Q, you know what I'm saying, who's been in the same position really, you know what I'm saying? And he's just been taking advantage of every opportunity that has came his way, you know what I'm saying? And but like, Coop, man, Coop is fascinating just to watch. Like he can line up anywhere and he'll be all right.
In terms of you heading into training camp, year one, it's like trying to make the roster, make sure you stay on the practice squad, learn as much as possible. What's the biggest goal for Mekhi Garner that you set for yourself heading into year two?
Man, I say the biggest goal is to not only make the team, but be an impact player, right? And not only on special teams, like, you know what I'm saying, be a very impact player. Like, um, just being whenever my number is called, and just take advantage of every opportunity I have out there. So, like, you can't take me off the field, right? And that's my biggest goal. I'm grateful to be where I'm at. You know, I'm very blessed to be where I'm at. Like I've said from the get go. I mean, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm hyped. Um, you know what I'm saying? Just talking to you gave me like jitters. Like I'm ready. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to jump to a brick wall right now. So this is an exciting year. I'm ready.
But we're all pumped. Let me tell you, just being a fan, I mean, I can't imagine being a player, but being a fan, July is like the worst month of the entire year because it's so slow, nothing happens, and it's just like 2 more weeks till training camp, and then 1 more week till training camp. So we're with you in a different way in terms of fans getting pumped. I want to finish on a Jalen Hurts question just because Jalen Hurts is QB1. He is the man in Philadelphia, and yet he continues to be under the microscope like every Eagle quarterback has been. The media, though, and I'm sure you've seen this, there's been a lot of stuff saying demeanor in the locker room. He's a little bit too quiet. And I've talked to other people. I was talking to, AJ Brown at DeVonta Smith's celebrity softball game. We talked to BG. They're all saying the exact opposite, so I'm sure that you'll echo this. But Jalen Hurts behind the scenes, and you're a DB, you're not in, every single meeting room with him. What's he like in terms of behind the scenes inside the NovaCare complex?
He's a very genuine guy, a very open guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can walk up to him and talk about whatever. You don't even got to talk about ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know why, they have that type of narrative on them, but, it is what it is. Like, that's not what's really going on, but he's definitely a very open guy. Like, I mean, I was talking to him last year, like, you know what I'm saying? When I didn't really think he knew my name, and the whole time he knows my name and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy stuff like that. Like, man, Hurts is a very genuine guy. Like, very cool. He's very calm. Like, he's just like me. Like, he just be chilling. Like, I guess what they want is somebody who's tweeting on, Twitter saying, "Oh, this got to change." That. Like, nah, because that's not how it goes. Like, it changes in the locker room. Like, Jalen is very vocal. He's very vocal, if you ask me. Like, but he's just a cool, calm, collective guy. Like, he's very observant, if you ask me.
There you go. I mean, listen, I think that's the perfect answer. I think every Eagle fan believes that that's the case, but you read stories, listen to radio hosts, and people will say the opposite, so always good to get some inside information there as well. Mekhi, listen, I appreciate you jumping on here for 20 minutes. Big fan of yours, big fan of you moving to safety, excited to see what you can do during training camp. We're praying for your health, we're praying for a great season as well, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Sure, appreciate you for having me, man. Appreciate that.